Yes, sir. Just like I said in my last video, when you thought you saw it all, some other shit comes from left field, slaps you right in your face, man. I mean, I understand that they have this agenda trying to bring the opposites together, all the quote unquote blacks and whites, all the people of different lifestyles, people that want to experiment, so on and so on, to the point that you have women competing with men, men that are trying to call themselves a woman, lady boys, transgenders are in competition with actual women, taking opportunities away from women that have been working on their crafts their whole life for the most part. But then you have an individual who was born a man, then decides that they want to be a woman overnight, and they're able to take a spot from that young girl. Now she misses out because there's an agenda that's being pushed that she's unaware of. But when you want to march and boast and scream for equality, this is the end result of that. So who do you blame? We have this individual who's a transgender woman, and she's crowned Miss Nevada, USA. Now, I done seen it all. But it's only going to get worse before it gets better. Having a transgender man win Miss Nevada, who are you catering to? If you're a transgender woman, you should be competing with transgender women. You guys can have your own alternative Olympics if you want to. But when you're taking opportunities from women that were actually born a woman, that's an issue. But nobody wants to talk about it. This is no form of equality.
This weekend, Cataluna Enriquez, a biological male, was crowned Miss Nevada USA. Enriquez called the win, quote, a celebration of womanhood. But we beg to differ. The Daily Wire's Michael Knowles, host of the Michael Knowles Show, and also the author of the new book, Speechless, Controlling Words, Controlling Minds, joins me now to weigh in. Michael, always great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Great to be with you.
I started off the show, Michael, talking about how the culture war has to be fought alongside some of the other policy battles that we're seeing in Washington. So here we go. We have biological men set to compete in this year's Tokyo Olympics, trying to participate in girls' sports,
They're not trying. They are participating in these sports. You got men lifting up these weights way stronger than these females in these competitions, way faster because they have testosterone, because they were born to do these things over women. I'm sorry. Yes, you can compete with men in certain aspects and whatnot if you want to play co-ed sports and things like that. But when we talk about full-blown competitions like this,
women's beauty pageants. I mean, this guy beat 21 actual women and is now going to compete in Miss USA. Are we seeing the end of women's sports and other competitions?
where are the feminists? This is the question that I'm asking. I'm asking for a friend. Where are the feminists talking about this is misogynistic, that you have men competing in women's sports? Doesn't make any sense that you guys march, you align yourselves with all these different agendas, and now look at yourselves. You have nobody to blame but yourself.
We're certainly seeing the end of women's sports. As for this man who is pretending to be a woman who now won the tournament, I always like to see the silver lining in storm clouds. I like to look at the glass half full. And the one thing I can say is that this man is definitely selling a lot of copies of my book. Because if a man can win Miss Nevada, then words really don't mean anything anymore. And this is the primary instrument by which the left inverts our culture. They attempt to redefine reality itself by redefining all of the terms. And of course, you cannot redefine reality because words refer to real things.
But you can't tell that to liberals because you're going to hurt their feelings. And just because you hurt their feelings, that makes it wrong. Where is the common sense? Where has the common sense gone? And it's not called common sense anymore because everybody does not have it. It would be called common sense if more people had it.
But the left will insist upon this. They will contrive this fantasy world. They've been doing it for a very long time. And if you don't go along with it, you can face punishment. I am certain that people will clip out this segment. They'll call me some sort of bigot for referring to a man as a man rather than a woman. And for people who are in a workplace or at a university, I mean, they would face real punishments if they were to plainly state the truth before them, because the left insists that you go along with their fantasy rather than believing your own lying eyes.
I have a niece who is sort of grew up in the pageant circuit. I mean, these are girls who they spend 10 years working their way up into these pageants. How is it possibly fair? How could a feminist possibly say that this is a good thing for women?
Well, in the case of the sports, the men are always going to beat the women because men are stronger and faster than women, and that's a biological fact. And actually, that's the reason that women have their own sports leagues, is because of that fact. As for the beauty pageants, the men are not more beautiful than women. I think highly enough of my...
You're going to hurt people's feelings talking that common sense like that. But I'm going to let you tell it. I'm going to just mind my business. But who the hell wants to watch a competition with a lady boy involved in it over actual females, my dude? You should have a competition, have your own drag race on your own time. No disrespect.
But I don't think I'm going to be winning any beauty pageants anytime soon. And so I think the reason that people are awarding men who are pretending to be women these sorts of awards is to try to change the culture, to just pretend, and we're all supposed to go along with it. But I don't think anybody really believes it deep down, no matter how hard the culture is trying to push it.
Yeah, yesterday the Supreme Court let an Obama-era ruling stand, allowing trans students to use opposite-sex bathrooms. A biological female, Gavin Grimm, won a lawsuit against her county school board for preventing her from using the men's bathroom. The Supreme Court decided not to take up the school board's appeal. Your take on this case?
Well, God bless Justices Thomas and Alito for recognizing that the Constitution does not grant the right to men to enter the women's bathroom. I'm sorry to see that Amy Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh and John Roberts, who was a lost cause long ago, just refused to stand up for this very basic issue. I must have missed the transgender provision of the Constitution. I guess it's beneath the emanations and above the penumbras that guarantee the fictional right to abortion as well. If this is what originalism is, if originalism means letting men into the ladies' room, I guess I'm no longer an originalist. But of course, if this is what originalism is, then words no longer have any meaning.
They're pretty much trying to make nothing original anymore. They're trying to create the new norm. They're trying to create what's original nowadays, breaking down barriers, breaking down walls, and trying to reconstruct and create new walls for a new foundation to try to reconstruct everybody's minds, morals, beliefs, principles, and what they really know is right. 10 to 15 years ago, half of this shit, a good amount of this bullshit that they're talking about today, that wouldn't even be brought to the forefront because it would be crushed before it's even brought up. You got to be shitting me to where we actually have competitions to where brothers are going to have to decipher if it's a man or a woman. Yeah, I remember back in the day watching the Maury episode, laughing and giggling and shit like that, thinking that it was a joke. That you had to guess if this dude was a lady or a man, and brothers was fucked up once they realized the person that they picked was actually a man. Who would have thought that shit would become a reality to where now people are turning on? It could be a Miss America competition, and you got to decipher if there's a lady man in the stands. Why are y'all trying to make it awkward when y'all could be doing your own thing on your own network, on your own platform, and nobody gives a shit who wins and who loses? You feel what I'm saying? Because all you're doing is taking an opportunity from an actual female that was born a woman. And then y'all want to talk about equality and all this bullshit. Somebody make it make sense to me. Nobody's trying to watch this TV and decipher who the fuck was born a man or a fucking girl, my dude. I don't want to ramble too long, man. Let me know what y'all think. I'm out.